Hello again, and welcome to another playthrough. This time we're going to be playing Austin Powers Pinball on the Sony PlayStation, which is a little pinball game. Only two tables on it, one based on one of two Austin Powers films, the third one Gold Member. Doesn't get any representation in this collection, unfortunately. So, yep, based on the Austin Powers series of films, obviously the three films from the late 90s, early 2000s. 97's International Man of Mystery, 99's The Spy Who Shagged Me, and 2002's Gold Member, all starring Mike Myers as the titular super sleuth spy, frozen in time in the 60s, I believe, in the first movie, and then brought out of retirement in the late 90s and made to adjust to the new culture and time period. Obviously, there's the well-known evil villain, Dr. Evil, also played by Mike Myers. Kind of a clever little thing to do that in cinema, I suppose. You saw Eddie Murphy did it. Of course, I think a year earlier than Austin Powers, you had The Nutty Professor, where he played a variety of characters. And also, what was the one that had Michael Keaton? Multiplicity, with Michael Keaton and Andy McDowell. Similar kind of idea there, where he cloned three clones of himself so that you could have one to do his work, one to do his childcare, one to do his creative pursuits, that kind of thing. So I was never the hugest fan of the Austin Powers songs. I'll just show the little blurb that you get here, giving you the setup, the theme, the rules, and so on. Never the hugest fan. I mean, I suppose it came out, I'd have been 12, 13 when I first saw it, taping it off Channel 4 late at night. And it was a fairly crass movie, still is, quite blue humour. Not my favourite kind of material, but nevertheless, I remember watching the first one free air TV and kind of enjoying it, I suppose, at just the right kind of age. So Mike Myers, this was obviously, well, it wouldn't even be his breakthrough role. I suppose his breakthrough role would have been Wayne's World, which came out only 4 years earlier than Austin Powers. I would have thought there was a bigger time gap between those, but no, Wayne's World was 92, and then Wayne's World 2. What was the actual official title of those films? Let me just look that up. Must have had a subtitle for Wayne's World and Wayne's World 2. No, it was just called Wayne's World 2. Didn't make it that much money. $20 million budget for Wayne's World. But anyway, enough of Wayne's World. So we'll see the first table here for Austin Powers, based on the first film. Obviously, you've got Elizabeth Hurley, I think it's Vanessa Kensington, the name of her character. And Mike Myers' face plastered all over. And the Fembot, the evil, seductive robot. What would the word be? Like, henchman, I suppose, used by Dr. Evil. Now, I didn't find the pinball tables here to be the greatest, the most engaging. This first one here, it's got that weird gimmick you get with some pinball tables of the upper play field here, and I'm never a huge fan of those. They always feel slightly kind of gimmicky, but an okay effort. I mean, I suppose the one problem with the game here is you only get the two pinball tables, which, I mean, I suppose for a PlayStation PlayStation era pinball game, you don't often get much more than that. There's the Kiss pinball game, for example, that only has 3 tables on it, and no licensed music from Kiss, which is a bit of a travesty, but this is kind of what you get with most games of that era, this era of pinball games on PlayStation, which is kind of, I mean, I never found them that exciting, that gripping as a youngster. If I did play any pinball, it would be on a real physical pinball table, although those are becoming harder and harder to find. But I mean, I did buy myself a physical copy of this, not as a joke, but as a kind of just I had a bunch of Amazon credits sitting for something, and I think I paid like £4 for this and Kiss Pinball. In fact, let me just look that up here. Amazon orders Austin Powers. 24th of December 2012. I bought this on Christmas Eve 2012. I bought myself a copy of Kiss Pinball for 1 pence and Austin Powers Pinball for 87 pence. Essentially one of these just pay the shipping and please get rid of it kind of deals. So, yeah. Although I do own a physical copy of this version was played on the emulator RetroArch. just because that makes it a little bit easier, a little bit smoother. Means I don't have to dig out an old PlayStation 1 and my archaic memory cards, which I'm sure no longer work, but I think I do have one of those third-party ones with, you know, the extended storage. It used to be a bit of an issue when you had only the one memory card and you would quickly run out of space. I think you had 15 blocks, although games like this, if you did want to like save high scores, I don't actually know this for a fact, so I shouldn't say this, you know, and speak out of turn, but I have the feeling a game like this wouldn't just take the one memory card slot to save. That'd be an interesting thing to actually find out.
Danger's my middle name.
You can see I actually drain my first 3 shots quite quickly here and don't really get any kind of progress with the table. Only 13 million points or so, so I thought, nah, I can give this a better shot. I'm experienced enough with pinball games to know that's not the greatest score, and we'll maybe give it a second shot. So I went for it a second time. Not really trying to follow the rules of the table. I mean, it's obvious you can see these flashing symbols to dictate exactly where you should be shooting. But for now, I was just enjoying the theme of the table and just kind of the exploration of kind of an oddity, really. A video game of a pinball based on Austin Powers. Quite a strange thing. I'll have to do a little sort of similar quick playthrough of the Kiss pinball game as well. Even though I wouldn't say I'm the greatest fan of the band.
Very psychedelic.
I suppose you would say Austin Powers' biggest success these days. Austin Powers' biggest success. Mike Myers' biggest success comes in the Shrek franchise, in which he plays the titular character. The ugly green ogre that lives in the swamp. With a Scottish accent. Does do quite a good, convincing Scottish accent, Mike Myers, despite being from Toronto in Canada. Obviously pulled it off with the fat bastard character in Austin Powers 2. He was Scottish, I believe. And again, Shrek, so that's certainly a weapon in Mike Myers' arsenal. Shrek is the second highest grossing animated film franchise. What would the first be, do you think? Frozen, maybe? No, it's The Lion King. Wait, is this the same chart I'm looking at? Highest grossing animated film. This needs updating. I don't see Shrek anywhere on this list. Shrek 2 is down in 16th place. Lion King, worldwide gross 1.6 billion. Frozen 2, I've still never seen the Frozen films. And not out of spite or anything, it's like with Harry Potter, they've never been on, I've never, you know, seeked them out, just never happened. Super Mario Bros. Movie is the third highest grossing animated film of all time. Oh no, it's series for Shrek, it's the series you want to see. Highest grossing animated franchise and film series. Despicable Me. I've never seen a Despicable Me movie, but they're absolutely adored. They've made so much money. Minions. Never seen it. Probably really good. Shrek number 2, Toy Story number 3, Ice Age number 4, Frozen number 5, so I wasn't far off. So Mike Myers, I think, is a very rich man based on his success hitting the right character at the right time with certain things. He also directs. I've seen him in a serious role. I can't remember what he played, a soldier, I think, in a serious role somewhere. I'd be completely guessing if I tried to figure it out though. Was it that Amsterdam film? It might have been. That one was strange. I almost watched that being the Mrs. Time of Year Holiday. That was on in a nearby cinema and almost went for it. Didn't in the end though. So you can see I performed much better on this run than the initial first one. Tapped out around 13 million here, and I thought I got around 33 million. Is this my last ball here? Can't quite remember. I did record this a week or two ago. Well, this is on my last ball with just under 34 million, almost 34 million already. Nice. So I'm a much better score than a first run through the game. There's been talk of doing a second Austin Powers film. Sorry, a fourth Austin Powers film. But as of 2024, nothing has materialised. And Mike Myers is 60 years old. He's kind of getting on to be doing that crass toilet humor, you would have to say. The second film took in more money in its opening weekend than the entire box office proceeds of the first movie. That's kind of crazy, but that's, I mean, when you look at the numbers here, a budget of $33 million and a box office of $312 million, like, Austin Powers 2 made a lot of money.
Danger's my middle name.
But yeah, that'll wrap up my first look at the first of the two pinball tables here, and not too impressive a score, I suppose, really. 38 million in total we got in the end there, I think it was. So an okay table, nothing too outstanding.
Danger's my
Kind of
middle
a nice
name.
wide open playfield, but I'm never a huge fan of that sort of upper playfield section that's kind of separated. And I kind of struggled to actually figure out how to exit the table in the game here, but eventually figured out it wants me to quit the game and then exit the table to have a look at the second table in our list here, or on our CD I should say, which is based on The Spy Who Shagged Me, the sequel, the second movie in the Austin Powers franchise. So that one came out 2 years after the first one, and you'll just see the little blurb here that you get, the theme of the table and the rules that it gives you. Again, starring Austin Myers, Heather Graham, Michael York, Robert Wagner. Who's Robert Wagner? He's like an old actor. Oh, number 2. He was the henchman number 2. Yeah, they made a lot. They made too many jokes about that. Robert Wagner. 1930 the guy was born. He's 94 years old. That's wild. I mean, he looked old when he played number 2 in this. And we're now going back, what, 25 years for that? Seth Green as well was in this. He'd have been kind of hot off the success of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Rob Lowe as well as young number 2. So yeah, you can see the kind of the cast difference there. And Elizabeth Hurley returns as Vanessa Kensington. I seem to remember she's revealed to be actually an evil robot that's going to kill Austin, from what vague memory I have of this film. Again, I strongly remember the first one, I would say, but the second one I don't really remember as much. I'm not sure if I watched it all the way through. Even as like a 13 or 14 year old, I do remember finding some of it, like the number 2 jokes, just a little bit cringe.
I've lost my mojo.
Maybe feeling that the toilet humour that Austin Powers was known for was kind of maybe going a bit too far. There were 2 variations on the posters. One of them asterisked out the middle of the offending word shag. Other posters named the film as Austin Powers 2. According to the Collins English Dictionary, the use of the word shag in the film's title helped to increase the word's acceptability, reducing its shock value and giving it a more jocular, relaxed connotation. Singapore considered changing the title to The Spy Who Shocked Me, S-H-I-O-K, deriving from the Malay word siok, which means to feel good. The spy who made me feel good. Kind of funny. Yeah, so, yeah, as a kid it was kind of a bit naughty to go to The Spy Who Shagged Me. Oh, shagged, huh? You know, that same kind of toilet humour that you got out of something like Bottom, which made me laugh then. If I'm honest, in the right mood, still kind of does make me laugh like a child. So this second table, I kind of ended up liking this second table a bit more than the first one. Not only is there that lack of any kind of gimmick playfield or whatever, but it just has that nice open kind of playfield vibe. And the colour contrast between the red, kind of red and white bottom area and the purple and blue upper area, it's kind of that's a nice design. I like that. And it has that same pinball feature which I love to see, where, and you should see it when I make the ball reach the top of the screen here eventually at some point. Here we go, where as you hit flippers, those 3 purple lights in the top middle, you can move which one's unlit, so you can sort of with skill adjust it and make the ball go through the unlit one. Then once you light up all 3, usually you'll advance the bonus, something like that. I think the jackpot maybe gets increased here, you saw. So yeah, this is kind of a fun table, like, for what it is, for like, you know, a basic PlayStation 1 pinball table on a game with only 2 offerings. Decent enough. I would say it doesn't really maybe lean into the theme as much. I don't know, maybe the soundtrack just for both tables didn't really do it for me. Maybe the design, just other than it's just got a couple of rubbish kind of JPEGs of the faces of Dr. Evil and Mustafa and so on. Number 2 is Rob Lowe in there? Rob Lowe, I can't quite make out which one he's meant to be, if he is. So yeah, an improvement on the first table, I would have to say, but nevertheless nothing too outstanding. I wonder if there's any other Austin Powers video games. Let's have a little look. Austin Powers film scenes, video games. There was Austin Powers Operation Trivia on the PC and Macintosh in '99. Austin Powers I'll Behave, Game Boy Color 2000. Oh, that's some kind of just side scroller kind of platformer. Gameplay. Action game designed for single player. Featuring a series of Austin Powers themed mini games. Actually, sounds kind of interesting. Austin Powers Welcome to My Underground Lair, another Game Boy Color game, so you had quite a few games on the Game Boy Color, and again, another mini game based action game. They might be kind of fun just to have a little look at. Not the sort of game that probably anyone's thought of in 20 odd years. Austin Powers I'll Behave on the Game Boy Color. Obviously Austin Powers Pinball here on the PlayStation and PC came out in 2002, so I'm surprised they didn't kind of capitalise on the film coming out, Goldmember in 2002, and make a tie-in, maybe a film tie-in release, and maybe have a pinball table suiting the third film. Seems kind of odd. And then there was the cancelled Austin Powers Mojo Rally on the Dreamcast. That one never saw the light of day. So, Austin Powers Pinball. I have to say, quite disappointing. If I'd got this as a kid, I'd certainly be gutted. If this was one of the 2 games a year that you got for Christmas and birthdays.
I've lost my mojo.
And even as a pinball fan, it's only kind of a novelty to have it in my collection. But it was a fun little game to look at. Kind of saw everything that I had to offer there. And yeah, Austin Powers. The 4th film might never come out, and I don't think we'd be losing too much if it did. But yep, thanks for watching. That's been me, Mac, playing Austin Powers Pinball, and I'll have more videos on my YouTube, so stick around. Thanks for watching. Bye.